So first things first, a massive congratulations. Seriously, you did it. You earned those incredibly prestigious letters after your name, and that is no small feat. You've proved you have the technical chops, the discipline, and the brain power to conquer one of the toughest qualifications out there.
But here's the thing that nobody really talks about during the celebration. Are you ready for what comes next? Because the skills that got you here, that incredible technical expertise, well, they're not the same skills that are going to get you to the top of the corporate ladder. What comes next is a completely different game.
And that's exactly what we're going to break down in this explainer. We're going to get into the common, kind of unspoken challenges that so many new chartered accountants run into. But don't think of this as a list of warnings. Think of it more like a roadmap for the journey ahead. The journey from being the expert to becoming a true leader. All right, let's dive right into our first pillar, mastering your message. This is all about how you communicate your value. Because, knowing the numbers is one thing, but making those numbers actually matter to other people, that's everything.
So in this section, we're going to tackle 3 specific hurdles that can really hold you back. That feeling of zero confidence when you're presenting to leadership, the struggle to communicate with people who aren't in finance, and the challenge of building that all-important executive presence.
And this quote from our source material just hits the nail on the head. Does this sound at all familiar? You've got all the data, you've done all the work, but the second it's time to present, that confidence just evaporates. You either freeze up or you end up sounding super dry and technical. So, the crucial shift you've got to make is moving from the left side of this slide to the right. You have to go from being the technical expert who might accidentally drown people in data to becoming the trusted leader who speaks the language of the business and uses those numbers to tell a clear, compelling story. A great little framework to keep in mind is situation, complication, resolution. What's the context? What's the problem? And how does your insight solve it? Simple. And this brings us to this key concept, executive presence. It's that hard to define quality you just see in senior leaders. It's not about what you wear. It's about projecting this deep level of confidence and credibility that just makes other people trust your judgment. It's the silent signal that tells everyone, hey, I'm ready for what's next. Okay, let's keep building on that, because your career isn't just built on spreadsheets, right? It's built on relationships. And that brings us to our second pillar, navigating the people puzzle. This is where your soft skills become your most powerful asset.
Here, we're really going to explore the human side of corporate success. We'll talk about emotional intelligence in the workplace, that awful anxiety that builds up around performance reviews, and the often overlooked art of actually networking like a pro. Now, when we talk about emotional intelligence, or EQ, in the office, we're talking about really practical, down-to-earth skills. It's about reading the room, handling difficult personalities, and knowing how to say no or push back respectfully. These are the skills that make networking feel less like a chore and more like you're building real alliances that are going to help you for years to come.
Now let's talk about a very specific, high-pressure moment where all of this comes together. I want you to just think about this number for a second. 1. For a lot of people, that's it. That's how many formal performance reviews you get a year. Just one single opportunity to officially make your case for a promotion or a raise. I mean, the pressure on that one conversation can be absolutely immense, and it creates so much anxiety.
And here's the real problem. The skills you need for that conversation, being able to articulate your value, to showcase your wins, to negotiate with confidence, they don't teach you this stuff in your professional training. It's a huge skill gap that can directly hit your career and, let's be honest, your bank account. So this all leads us to our final pillar, which is where we shift from the day-to-day skills to your long-term strategy. It's about being the architect of your own career, not just a passenger. We call it architecting your ascent. This is where we look at the really big picture. That horrible feeling of being stuck in a junior role, that jarring transition from articleship into the corporate world, and the critical lack of real, personalized mentorship that could help you navigate all of it.
This is a fear that is so incredibly common, and this quote from the source material just captures it perfectly. You land the job, which is great, but then the path from, say, executive to assistant manager to manager, it feels foggy and unclear. And before you know it, years can just fly by without any real progress.
And this slide illustrates that feeling just brilliantly. You see the rungs on the ladder, you see the titles, but the steps in between are just a question mark. Without a clear roadmap, it's so easy to feel lost and totally unsure of what you actually need to do to get that next promotion.
A huge reason for this confusion is the massive, and I mean massive, mindset shift that's required after articleship. Your training is so often focused on compliance, on procedure, on technical execution.
Then, suddenly, in a corporate role, you're expected to think strategically, manage people, and add broad business value. It is a completely different job.
And trying to navigate this transition all by yourself is where so many people get stuck. I mean, generic advice from the internet is everywhere, right? But what's usually missing is that personalized, one-on-one guidance that helps you find the right companies and the specific roles that will act like rocket fuel for your career. So after outlining all of these challenges, you might be thinking, okay, what's the path forward? Well, here's the good news. These challenges aren't roadblocks. They're actually signposts. Together, they form a really clear blueprint for your development into a leader.
This slide basically sums up our entire explainer. It turns each challenge into a powerful area of focus for you. So you shift from being just a technical expert to becoming an influential communicator. You go from only understanding the numbers to really understanding the people behind them. And you shift from simply having a job to intentionally building a strategic career.
So as we wrap this up, I'll leave you with this one final thought. Your qualification as a chartered accountant is the bedrock. It's the strong, unshakable foundation. The question now is, what kind of leader are you going to build on top of it? The architecture is all yours.